those two buildings at the end, actually, the breakfast building could be actually have several facades. That would help all of it. And that's a great site right there on the park like that. Parks on both sides of the street. That's a pretty good site.
On the daylight question, I want to commend you for orienting the grid the way that you did, because we don't have very many north-south streets in the higher density parts of Montreal, and the very best solar orientation that you can have is north-south streets, so that units get morning light and afternoon light, rather than having south-facing units get lots of light and north-facing units get no light ever.
Thank you very much.
And the waterfront, as well as its proximity to downtown. But one of the challenges, while we are in close proximity to downtown, we are also, there's also poor connectivity. There's also local sources of noise coming from the Bonaventure Highway, as well as the Keeler Basin outlet and the CN rail line. So based on these opportunities and challenges, we've made 4 guiding principles. The first is having a mixed community, focus on urban living, a focus on its prime location, as well as proximity to the Lachine Canal. So to create a mixed community, we wanted to focus, we wanted to not only have residential and commercial uses, but we wanted to have a mix of incomes as well as different ages. The next principle is a focus on urban living. So we are in an urban area, but we also wanted to create a comfortable and welcome and livable neighborhood and a place that encourages active living. Our third principle is to build upon the prime location of being close to downtown Montreal. We also wanted to make it convenient for people to live in this area. The fourth is the opportunity of being located on the Lachine Canal. So build on the current activity that happens, as well as the green space, and really pull it into our site. So embracing these 4 principles, we are creating a livable, walkable, and welcoming community. So the concept plan is based on 3 main elements. The first is a parkway that runs north-south, and it's surrounded by a residential area to the west and to the east, which which will be visually oriented to take advantage of views to the downtown as well as the park. And there's also connections throughout the site, which are multimodal, but also we're focused on making sure that there's pedestrian access in a finer grade throughout the site. So now we'll see how the concept plays into the master plan. There's three main structural elements, the first being the park, the second being the street network, and the third being preserving the views to Montreal, or sorry, to downtown, and Lachine Canal, and the park. So the first main structuring element is the park, and it runs north-south from Bridge Street all the way to the Lachine Canal, connecting through the redesigned Wellington Basin. And it creates a main focus to the site. So while the park will ultimately be given to the City of Montreal, we would like to work with them on programming and redevelopment. So we would like to see the Wellington Basin be redesigned to be accessible, as well as have a bioretention pond running to the water. We'd also like to see a bike and pedestrian network running through. As well, we'd like to incorporate some historical elements throughout the park, such as water features that give the footprint of the former Wellington Basin, and reusing different parts of the mill within the urban design features, such as like benches and signs and things that remind us of the historical past. The second master plan element is preserving the views. So as you can see in this cross section, this is the Lachine Canal, sorry, roads running from Lachine Canal down to Bridge Street. So the Lachine Canal is here, running to Bridge Street. You can see that the heights of the buildings increase as you go towards the center of the site. And this is to maximize views for the most number of units. This third structural element is our street network. And so we have two main streets. So the first one running from Bridge Street, which circles around the western part of the site and connects the residences on that side, as well as the above ground parking. The second street runs from Bridge all the way to Mill, and this connects the residences on the east side of the site and the underground parking that they have. These are all two-way streets with on-street parking, and they would also be designed to be safe for multi-modes with pedestrians and cyclists. We would also have a finer grain of more pedestrian-oriented paths throughout the site. In order to connect the to the surrounding area, we have to work in collaboration with other organizations. So we work with Parks Canada in order to create a better pedestrian and cycling connection to the Wellington Street Bridge, as well as making sure that it's cleared in the wintertime. We also work with STM in order to see if we can have better bus connections and higher frequencies. As well, we would work with Big C and Combinaco to see if there's feasibility for having those services on our site. And now I'll hand it over to Ted, and he will go into the fine grain detail.
Thank you. In order for the bassin movement to reach its highest and best use, it will need to build itself as a livable, walkable, welcoming community, as Chelsea has described. One that is livable by providing the services and amenities the residents need. One that's walkable by focusing on a dense urban form that's amenable to walk to pedestrians and active transit users. And one that's welcoming by arraying itself with a diverse set of units and welcoming different demographics. Over the next 20 minutes, I'll go with you through 5 of the parcels on our site, using them as a lens to display some of the broader characteristics that make up the bassin de Moulin. So, the bassin de Moulin will go through 5 of these sites, beginning here on Bridge Street. As the bassin de Moulin must be not only a neighborhood, but also a neighbor to the surrounding communities that will respond to some of the broader regional market forces. In this location, this will be the Bridge Street focus, will demonstrate how that's the case. Ground floor commercial at this location with an office tower rising above will help to shield the park and the residential developments from some of the noise on Bridge Street, while providing the services of the grocery store which are lacking in the area, as well as employment in the office tower rising above. This space is also possible for amenities such as a gym and daycare, which are both lacking within the area. But why this use and why this location? The grocery store complements well with the Costco across the street, allowing for a regional attractor for people to do the weekly errands in this area, and the daycare complements well with the park in the area, allowing for use of recreational facilities. Not only will we have to be a livable area in providing these services, we'll have to be a welcoming area in providing a range of unit types. And this is best seen for the buildings to the north. We have a family focus. These 3 buildings at 6 and 9 stories provide 175 units, primarily at 4.5 and 5.5 provide somewhat larger units focused around a central green courtyard. And this helps to highlight not only the range in sizes, but also the network of public and private green space on the site. Each parcel, each development tends to have its own private green space, which links in with a larger public park system. And so in these 3 developments, we have larger units corresponding with the needs of growing families, first-time buyers with children, and not simply the young urban professional market, helping us to market our parcels and our phases to wider demographics. And so by offering these diverse unit types, we make a more welcoming community as one of our objectives. More broadly, we also have space housing for seniors, as well as affordable housing on the site, making for broadly a more accommodating community. As our third focus, we look at the streetscape. The bassin de Moulin isn't the downtown, but it should provide for amenities and a lifestyle that's competitive with those that might otherwise choose to live there. In the western half of our site, we can look at this streetscape and see how it's a walkable community. Townhouses along the western side, but with a parking garage that sits on as a 3-story parking garage on the against the railway tracks, which helps to shield development from the noise of the railway tracks, as well as providing much of the above-ground parking for the western side of the development. Much of the rest of the area is underground, but in this case it serves a dual purpose. These townhouses are 3 stories apiece at 160 square meters, again providing some larger units, while the units tend to be smaller, more towards the waterfront. But in this case, we can see that these larger units are also within more dense urban form. We have walk-up apartment buildings, as well as elevator buildings, social and senior housing. So they're within, as Justin described, a street grid that prioritizes the pedestrian connections across into the park. And so in this way, to build a more walkable community through a pedestrian and active transportation focused network. The bassin de Moulin, must also be reflective of the diversity that is Montreal. As part of the city's objectives towards social and affordable housing, we have 15% social units, but they aren't concentrated in one parcel on the site. In the south, on Bridge Street, we have walk-up apartment buildings and social housing over top of ground floor retail, allowing for a greater financial viability for the site, for this revenue to help supplement the finances of the co-op. Further north, we have a site fronting on the park, and to the northeast, a social unit, one of the larger units, towards the northeast, closer to the waterfront. In this way, they're dispersed and we can help reduce some of the isolation. This is also the case with our affordable units, with 14% affordable units spread across the site, built to size and quality in an effort to make this a more inclusive community and one that reflects the diversity of Montreal. And while the affordable housing program of the city is imperfect, we're committed to working with the city in order to ensure that our affordable units get into the hands of those who have the most need of them, while retaining a project that is ultimately profitable and viable. And this is what can be seen in our waterfront focus. This is our highest value lane. It's also some of our highest density and best use. Through the focus on this, we can look at the overall financial viability of our project. We don't have towers fronting on the water, but we do have dense use. We step up from lower heights immediately proximate to the water to higher buildings quite quickly, allowing for the maximum number of units to have views onto the water, and this way help to maximize their use. At the 36% return on investment with 144 million net present value. We have a project that's financially viable, but one that also offers ample public amenities. 12% of our site is a public park, 14% is affordable housing, 15% is social units, and with all this, we've still managed a project that is eminently feasible. And so from building a livable community, providing services and amenities that our residents require, a walkable community built in a dense urban form in an appealing green landscape, and one that's welcoming by having a range of unit types, of levels of quality, as levels of affordability. We can make communities ultimately livable, walkable, and welcoming. That is M2U00002.
Congratulations. I really like the way that you've cut up the site in a way that is easy for us to understand. The other first group had a really fantastic presentation too, but in particular I like your focus on the products here. I wonder why you, well, a few things. I think like the social housing and retail thing, just so you know, I don't think there's any precedent for that in Montreal, so it might be a little more complicated than it seems at first. Also, can you talk about you have a section in of the site that's devoted to families. So like the large units are concentrated in those buildings?
Not entirely. It made it clear that way when we walked through the presentation with our different focuses, between the retail focus, the family focus, the waterfront focus. In that area that we walked through, which you can see here, was described as a family focus because they are larger units, but it's not necessarily a family development per se. Just that most of our larger units are concentrated here and the townhouse along the area, and we demonstrate that in the development as a whole, there are larger units. It's not simply 2 and a half and 3 and a half. But I wouldn't say that is simply a family development.
Are there, last question, of your affordable units, family-sized units among the affordable units?
Yes. The affordable units are distributed through units of all sizes.
What we've actually done is taken between 5 and 20% of each building to be affordably priced. So it's constructed exactly the same quality, it's the same building, and it's just affordably priced, so you get less of a profit off of those units. But they're the same size and the same quality.
I guess I sort of had the same question for the first group. I'm curious as to why you would have family-sized affordable units, because nothing is like forcing you to do that. Like,
It's something that we discussed with the professors off the bat, with some concern from developers around the viability and the financial feasibility of integrating them into the units at the same scale and at the same quality. But it's something that we felt a need for in Montreal. It's something that we think is important to have within the project, even if it does take a little bit off the top of the end of the day.
The other consideration for that is the community that it's going into. We're not developing in Westmount or in Beijing, we're developing in Pointe-Saint-Charles, and they do have needs and they do have requirements from the developers that come to their area, so we're trying to move this as much as possible.
Well, you can get the family thing and diversify your life, right? Instead of the first-time buyer, or being short of first-time buyers at this point in time. But I find personally that it's tough to put families in concrete buildings in Montreal. It's being done in New York, Vancouver, Europe, but in Montreal would be more like the type of row houses, townhomes. That's great for families. They don't have a neighbor on top of their head and everything. But in concrete, we're not there yet, I find. So I would be careful in saying this is a family product, larger unit. You'll probably find your largest unit on the water in the luxury product, and in the middle, facing a park is very desirable, but it's probably like mid-high. But typically, these want to be close to the ground. They don't want to get the stroller up the elevator and all this stuff. It's very North American for now, Montreal.
You know what? I think there's.
It's coming.
Yeah, I think it's coming, and if you give them enough green space, because concrete is much better than wood, and the kid can jump and
No, but in a townhouse, you're alone in your townhouse.
Yeah.
Your kid's jumping on your head, so you can throw.
NDG, in the Triangle, in Namur, what they've been doing, the equivalent of townhouses at the base of the high-rise unit. So you have the mix.
Those are the best things as well.
Yeah.
As I think stacked townhouses bring the good words of the.
It's part of the building.
I think the question was, just be careful, I think the question was about affordable families. I mean, family units are a class of unit that doesn't necessarily refer to price. And affordable doesn't necessarily refer to family. When you combine the two, you're giving yourself quite a challenge, which is interesting, but it probably requires, as Stefan's getting at, a precinct in the project where families like that will actually conglomerate, and it would require wood-type products, because otherwise it just wouldn't be affordable. I mean, I think it's a very good point. When you try to combine those two things, you do give yourself a development challenge, yeah.
Add 3 stories to the townhouses along the railway track. That is certainly
It
possible.
could be,
but
sure,
for the
absolutely.
Can I just jump in? I think there's sort of an elephant in the room here. We're in Montreal, and the Bassin project was mentioned. The city has been aggressively pursuing housing for families for 10 years, unlike almost any other municipality in North America. And that's a good horse, or a good horse to hitch your wagon to, rather than saying, we think it's a good idea for building housing for families. Montreal has a strategic policy initiative with a number of programs in place, which have included subsidies to developers who are building family-friendly units. And we don't expect to review all of the policy frameworks and so on and so forth. But you have this great opportunity in Montreal, and you can take advantage of that, and you can factor that into your cash flow analysis of your etc. So I think that's a good thing, and you can draw a little from there.
We certainly have with Montreal's definition of family housing, though it's not perhaps quite so flexible as to be a benefit to our cash flow analysis, as it has requirements certainly for size, for height to be closer to the ground, as well as for cost. And the cost of Montreal's definition of family then is quite low.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
I have a question about your views. You say that views, taking advantage of views is really important to you, and yet you don't build towers. You say we want to have good views with what some would consider medium-rise buildings. They go up to 10 stories? 10 stories. And in fact, you showed the most important arrows with views on your concept plan in 3 locations. But when you look at your tallest buildings, they are on that little street, what's it called again? Oak Street. They're on Oak Street and Mid Street to a certain extent. And they're also on Bridge Street. No, Bridge. Bridge. Yeah. Oak. Right, but they're certainly on Oak and Mill. And the ones on New Street where the families are actually not that tall and are across the park facing buildings that are of similar height. So what's happening?
From a concept plan, you see the views looking out both over the water and to a degree you can the downtown. If you start to say further south from this, the quality of the view diminishes considerably. Along the waterfront, we have some of our highest density of views and some of our highest buildings stepping back from the waterfront. And so that's where some of our best views are, and where a large portion of our residents are. You'll also get views. This building actually goes up to 12 on this tower here. So views looking out both over the park and downtown. And these buildings rise higher than 3 stories here, and so views across here towards the downtown. So while some of them are looking into the park, it's quite a few of them that we still able to see over and around each other. If not for a full field of view, at least you can see the basin of downtown.
But why these tall buildings on Main Street? Then you just needed density for revenue, or?
We decided to create those buildings there because we weren't obstructing the views of anything that was in the back. So that's why we decided to create higher buildings there. And those buildings have the view over to downtown as well, because they're going higher at that point. They can look across, and the one on the very far end, we have another map, but it hasn't been shown yet. That's actually social housing. So we put density there to get the required percentage of social housing.
Okay, so that's you want to limit the amount of land you give to social housing, and
to make it a taller building that gives them more green space.
You may get some pushback from social housing people on having 12-story buildings.
Oh,
The one aspect that the social housing will enjoy about the project, I have to say, the fact that you haven't clustered them in one location, they're spread through the plan. I thought that was a very nice feature. I think your examples as well show that this is a neighborhood type of development. You have a mixture of different architecture, of different clienteles throughout the project that you have to be commended about that. I would like to bring a comment about the street pattern that you have here. It'd be interesting to see the percentage of road network you have to your land network versus park network. It seems like there's quite a lot of road infrastructure, and I wonder if you think there was ways of optimizing that. My understanding is that the units that are along the train tracks, is that just parking? Yeah, along there. What are you having there? It's just parking, or is it also?
This is,
Parking structure?
There is townhouses on the ground.
On the street.
Okay, so you need to have access to those as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and that is the street runs behind it, that's 30 feet away from the street.
And the parking is above ground structure?
Yes, 3 stories.
Does that cover the whole site, or there's more parking underneath?
There's more
There's
parking for the eastern.
You have the way that this is configured is that you have single loaded, yet those units have access on both sides, and it's not an optimal way of using the road, and we're trying to minimize the road as much as possible. I'm sure it was a challenge for you when you were doing it.
It was a long discussion.
Yeah.
We want to be able to give everybody an address and still have
Yeah.
proper access to the site.
I have the same malaise, especially this area in here. I have a feeling there's still something to fine tune. Yeah. Maybe the large buildings can get closer to the street, and then another maybe access to a group of buildings or something needs to be done to be able to get to the next line there. My other question is, the other thing is about facing the canal. Why are they not, I get the feeling they could have contributed to defining the street instead of being, say, I feel, like green space is not optimized either on one side or the other, but it's like half here, half there.
We're not sure if it's public or semi-public or private at all.
All the light green space is public, and then there's an access parking, that separates the two.
But I mean, they could have been closer to the street and then all the yeah, I'm talking, yes,
Oh, that one, okay,
exactly,
Not
yeah.
threatening the street
Yeah.
and here.
Because those are double barrel buildings, we want to give some space for the apartments at the back who don't actually have the waterfront view. And so we didn't want to build the buildings too close to each other, which is why we left quite a bit of green space before the street started. That was our rationalization for that.
Perhaps there's a U-shaped courtyard, interior court, front courtyard that would define that space more. It's a fine tuning.
Yeah, but I think that's the point I was gonna offer. I mean, I think that's what we're not seeing here, which I think actually works, is the actual plot plan, right? The subdivision of individual sites that then architects can play with. I mean, ultimately, from a planning point of view, you need to be able to subdivide the site into pieces of land that you can put buildings on. And once the architects get busy with that, they can do many different configurations. And you've examined some, they could be improved, I presume, but this wasn't necessarily a design exercise. So I think that's a fair comment, and it's worthwhile knowing for sure. But I think the real estate dimensions of this generally work.
One comment though, yeah, it's in acknowledging that, this is not a design exercise, there is a core morphology question which I think needs to be addressed, which is that your esplanade, your central axis, is not properly scaled. It's too wide. This looks like Cavendish in Cote-Centric in terms of the morphology. And if you've been on the ground of Cavendish in Cote-Centric, it's not, I think, the kind of space that you're envisioning in your eyes. You're taking a very sort of position, a